International leaders are commenting on today's summit between President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin. Ukraine says it is, quote, counting on America. The UK, meanwhile, is getting ready to put boots on the ground in Ukraine. NTD's international correspondent, Arian Pazdar, has more.
As President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin are heading to Alaska, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky comments on the summit. Zelensky says this meeting should open up a real path toward a just peace and a substantive discussion between leaders in a trilateral format, adding, "We are counting on America." Zelensky has been in close contact with European allies throughout this week, trying to lay the tracks for the Alaska summit. The Ukrainian president is reportedly prepared to meet with French President Emmanuel Macron once Friday's meeting in Alaska is finished. Meanwhile, the defense secretary of the UK says Britain is ready to put boots on the ground in Ukraine. That's in case a ceasefire between Kiev and Moscow is agreed to. Many say Ukraine needs some type of security guarantee in case of a ceasefire to make sure Russia doesn't attack again. Arian Pazdar, NTD News.
And just hours before meeting President Trump in Alaska, Russian President Vladimir Putin laid flowers at a memorial commemorating U.S.-Soviet cooperation during World War II. Putin made a stopover in the far eastern Russian city of Magadan on his way to Alaska. The monument Putin visited is dedicated to the heroes of Alsib. The sculpture shows a handshake of a Soviet and an American pilot. Alsib is a Soviet part of the Alaskan-Siberian Air Road. This route was launched in 1942 to deliver American fighter planes to the Soviet Union. This was part of their joint effort to fight Nazi Germany during World War II. Putin departed for Alaska after leaving the flowers at the monument. Residents in Anchorage, Alaska, shared their thoughts ahead of this crucial talk, with the possibility to end the long and bloody conflict on the line. Here's more.
Well, I want to believe that we will have some positive outcomes because of this meeting, but it's kind of the situation right now. It's like in a stop. It's like 2 steps forward, or 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
This is about Ukraine. It's not about America. And it's not about Russia, really, except that Russia invaded Ukraine. And they need to leave. There's nothing to negotiate. I mean, what should Zelensky do in return?
I don't really have much hope for the summit. It would be nice to think that Putin would recognize that he's not going to win. But my understanding is that he would lose his grasp on power if he stops the war.
Are we really going to make any progress with Putin, who hasn't even bothered to show up for so many other instances?
Putin and Trump meeting together, I hope that they can accomplish something. I'm kind of a little pessimistic about it, but I want to support it and hope that they can stop this, you know, what they're doing to the Ukrainian people and the Russian people, for that matter.
I just want to hope, and they say the hope dies last, so that there will be some fruitful results from this meeting, from this summit.
Joining us now to discuss Trump's meeting with Putin today is Andrei Illarionov, Senior Policy Advisor to Putin from 2000 to 2005 and Senior Analyst for Russian and European Affairs at the Center for Security Policy. So first of all, thank you for your time today, Andrei. What do you think about this meeting? How consequential do you expect it to be? And Trump has described today's talks as a feel-out or a listening exercise. What do you think?
Thank you for inviting me. Definitely, this is coming meeting or even summit between Putin and Trump is triumph for Putin, undoubtedly. This is a great victory for Putin, who wanted to meet Trump for all last 7 months during Trump presidency. Same, he wanted to have those meetings with Biden as well. And for him, this is a very important part of his policy of public recognition, of legitimization of his aggression against Ukraine, against Europe, and against the United States. So the President Trump gives him unique opportunity to legitimize and to recognize legitimacy of Putin's aggression against Ukraine, Europe, United States, and personally against Mr. Trump, against whom Mr. Putin was waging very aggressive campaign during year 2024, before and later. So that is why this is a red carpet invitation and red carpet meeting by President Trump of Mr. Putin is unbelievable triumph, victory in breakthrough of diplomatic isolation, political isolation of military criminal and international terrorist who is Mr. Putin. Welcoming his on the American soil is giving to him legitimization of his crimes against Ukrainians, crimes against Europeans, crimes against Americans. So this is the best achievement of Putin's long-term policy of legitimization of his crimes and aggression against the rest of the world.
So do you think then President Trump is aware of what you're describing as a victory for Putin, or how he's feeling? Do you think President Trump is aware of the situation that you described?
The whole world is aware of this situation. The whole world for 3.5 years is watching with disdain this criminal aggression against Ukrainians, killing of thousands of people every week, and Mr. Trump is mentioning this fact every week. He promised to stop this war 53 times during 24 hours. He promised it many, many times. He promised when he became president since January 20th, at least 4 times to give Putin 2 weeks to stop this war. Each time, the previous 24 hours, that's long time, or these 2 weeks, and after that 50 days ultimatum, after that 10 or 12 days ultimatum, after that August 8th ultimatum. All of these promises or conditions or ultimatums that Mr. Trump talked about, all of them were violated by Mr. Trump himself. So Putin continued his attack against Ukraine and even accelerated his attacks. These 7 months of year 2025, this is the worst period during the Russian-Ukrainian war. More people have been killed per day or per month during these 7 months than any other period during this war. More people on the front and more civilians have been killed, more property have been destroyed, everything that Mr. Trump was talking all this time. So he is very much aware, and you just have shown the First Lady. According to Mr. Trump, First Lady talked to him many times that she is shocked by the aggressive attacks of Putin against Ukraine. Nevertheless, all this continues without any step. We need to underscore that Mr. Trump did not make any step over the last 7 months in his administration against Mr. Putin. He was talking a lot, he promised a lot, he did nothing. And as a result of that, he emboldened Putin, he invigorated Putin, he made Putin much more aggressive than he was before Mr. Trump arrived to the White House.
Okay, so the United States has put sanctions on Russia and has threatened secondary sanctions as well. What else is left on the table to convince Putin to end this war? What tools are left?
All those threats turn out to be hollow. They're absolutely empty. There is no single new sanction that have been introduced by Mr. Trump over the last 7 months. We have heard all these secondary sanctions against China, against India. None of them have been introduced. None of them have been implemented. But what is really even more important, that this is a war with weapons. This is war with military. The war with weapons, with military, with tanks, with drones, with missiles, cannot be fought with sanctions. This war is a military operation. This is a military warfare. Military warfare can be contrasted and could be fought against only with military resources. This is a very simple equation. And just to stop Putin's aggression against Ukraine, against Europe, and against the United States, it is necessary to have a military response. Mr. Trump and Trump's administration never thought as a real possibility to confront Mr. Putin with military response. Even not in the way of the boots on the ground, but in much more serious approach like just deployment of US troops on the Ukrainian territory, not on the front line, but let's say in the West Ukraine, or at some distance from the front line, or providing Ukraine and NATO allies with patrols from the US Air Force or US Navy, US force in the Ukrainian air, or US Navy in the Black Sea, or providing necessary military equipment and military munition necessary to conduct successful military operation for Ukrainian forces. The current administration did not provide single new additional bullet for Ukrainian armed forces compared to what has been provided and promised by Biden administration. Once again, $0, 0 cents, 0 bullets, 0 shells, 0 of everything. So with such an approach, Mr. Putin understands very well that he has nothing to fear from Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump's turned out to be the best possible partner for Mr. Putin to try to threaten the Western world, including, first of all, the United States, European countries, Ukraine, and the rest of the world, including Taiwan and other places around the world, with military force that Mr. Putin and his friend in China and some other places, North Korea, are ready to use to get their goals.
Okay, Andrei, one last question. How sustainable is Russia's military campaign in its war against Ukraine? Because we have Western countries helping Ukraine, like the United States sending weapons to NATO, which is giving it to Ukraine, and other European countries as well helping Ukraine. So in the face of that, do you think Russia's military is sustainable in this war?
Let me quote General Secretary of NATO, Mark Rutte, who not once but several times over the last several months pronounced that today Russian economy produces 4 times more military equipment than all NATO combined. We know that Russians are using 3, 4, 5 times more shells on the front than Ukrainians. Over the last 3.5 years of full-scale war, United States provided Ukraine with 3.5 million artillery shells, 155 caliber and higher. Over less than 2 years, North Korea provided Russia with more than 6 million artillery shells, 152 millimeters caliber and higher. So this North Korea was able to provide to Russia more artillery shells, 3, 4 times more per unit of time, let's say per year or per month, than the United States, together with NATO, or all countries NATO, for Ukraine. We need to face reality, very stark reality, very unpleasant reality. The military potential of the alliance of aggressor, including Russia, North Korea, Iran, appears to be larger than combined military potential of all NATO countries, including the United States. This is stark reality that we need to face, and we need to understand what must be done just to confront aggressors, not only in Ukraine, but around the whole world, and what kind of risks this disbalance in military potentials creates for not only Ukraine, but for the whole world and for the Western countries, including the United States.
Well, okay, Andrei, we're out of time today. It's been a good discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We'll continue to follow the historic Trump-Putin summit in Anchorage, Alaska. Will President Trump's peace push end the Russia-Ukraine war? That is the question. Stay with NTD for updates and expert analysis on the ceasefire talks and their global impact. Coming up after the break, downsizing at the Consumer Financial